In a galaxy far, far away, it seems like maybe nobody is interested in, well, being an outlaw. At least not that many people, less than you would think, actually, compared to, well, almost any other Star Wars game. And the narrative director, or creative director in this case, is saying, hey, millions of people are going to play this for years and years. Well, let's talk about that on That Game Place. Hi, friends, it's me, CC, here with the man of mischief. It's, Stone Cold Loki. How you doing, Loki?
Doing great. Millions of people culture. Millions of people aren't playing this now, much less going to be playing this in a couple of years from now. So, wow, that's very forward-looking, bright, jumping through the rainbows thinking there.
Yeah, optimism. But look, at the same time, you and I both know the reality of it all. This game is only sold, at least the estimate's going to be through the quarter. It's only going to sell about 5.5 million copies, and that is not the ballpark they were looking for. When you consider it against something like Black Myth Wukong, which sold 10 million copies in 3 days. Let's jump right into the story and not withhold the headline from you. According to Spencer Baculi over at Bounding Into Comics, of course, we know Spencer, he's here on Wednesdays, but Star Wars Outlaws creative director tries to spin, look at this, Loki, tries to spin disastrous launch, says millions of people are going to play for years and years following improvements. What improvements? This game was gold 2 months ago, and you didn't improve on it between the time it went gold. You didn't patch it. It was a complete mess. We've seen some ridiculousness. What do you think, Loki? Is this going to be a years and years and years game?
They've been leveraging that Ubisoft engine for the launch of this game, just putting all their leverage into that engine, and people are already walking away from this game. They've got it. They either don't have the very first achievement, which was the blaster speeder bike ship achievement, or they've just played it and then not played it again. I don't see a lot of people coming back to this. I think the people that have played it. I think you're going to have a very little cult following from the Star Wars shows for Disney. Besides that, this game is dead.
Well, wait, now come on.
People are already moving along.
So you think that the Raylos are the reason that this game is gonna hold strong?
Have you seen the lead character in this game, Culture? Yes, I believe the Raylos are the ones that are going to keep this moving. But it's all trickled down now. So any copies that get bought will be the rare copy. Maybe I'm going to get something for my kid for Christmas. Ooh, look, Star Wars. You might get some of those sales, but the heat and the anticipation for this is already gone and out the window. The people that were shilling for this game, the content creators that were shilling, getting special deals from Ubisoft, even they couldn't put up with it when your speeder bike would go through the floor, or when you would walk into a room of stormtroopers and they would stand in a corner shooting the corner instead of turning around and firing at you. We've seen it all. We know it all. The game is a meme now in the gaming community, and the last thing you want is a bad meme in your gaming.
It's true, but Loki, look, at least it's doing better than Dustborn, right? Oh, man, 17 players at the time of recording. Not doing good. Oh, I feel bad. Well, no, I don't. Not at all.
No,
but what I find interesting is that it's the Raylos that are keeping this alive, and will keep it alive. But the question is, for how long? We just watched Sony cut bait when it came to their new studio, Firewalk Studio, and what they did to Concord, which you and I talked about it felt like 3 weeks straight about how this game is going to tank. Oh, it did. This game is tanking right now. In a declaration that comes across as a massive cope by any metric following the disastrous launch of Star Wars Outlaws, the game's creative director has claimed that supposedly forthcoming improvements will turn the title into one that millions of people will play for years and years to come. No. I've seen this game. You know Jonas is playing this game, right, Loki? You know?
Oh yeah. I've watched him. I've watched him.
Yeah. Did he seem thrilled?
No.
Yeah. Does the game seem intuitive?
No. Everything they said at that financial meeting that we talked about months ago, where they talked about leveraging the engine and how good the game would be, culture, none of that ended up being true.
Well, and I kind of feel bad, although less bad now after what Humbly Gonzalez actually came out and said, or Humblery. What a terrible name. Okay, that's a cheap shot, culture. Calm down. That's a cheap shot, culture. Calm down. No, but after what she said and the fact that she just spit the message out there, absolutely terrible. But as anyone who has either played the game for themselves or watched their favorite streamer take it for a spin can attest, Outlaws is less a finished title and more a slapdash collection of playable game builds. It's actually playable moments strung together with bug after annoying bug, even game-breaking bug. I can't imagine anybody's enjoying this. Loki, are you going to try this game? Because I know you. You own almost every game there is. Is this for you, bro?
If I don't know if it was ever free, if I could, if it was just like a gift, maybe, but I even doubt that. You know, I get pre-games all the time from a lot of cool websites that I'm signed up to, and I do a little extra work here and there for some stuff every once in a while. But I don't know if I'd take this as a free game or just like wad up the number or throw it in the trash or heck, put it on X and just be like, hey, if anybody wants a free copy of this, just claim it with this number. I don't think I would. I have no desire to play this, and I can't imagine that many people do.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because it is, as Spencer says here, it's not an exaggeration that there's a lot of stuff that it doesn't work in the game. I mean, and it, I'm not sure if it can be patched out. Maybe it can. Maybe you can download something. But the problem is, every time they seem to fix this game, they break it. Because remember what all those early access people who paid $130 for this thing? They found out that they had to go back and restart the game and join in back with the plebs in order for it to unbreak their game. That's not a good launch. I would demand what was that, a $40 difference in what the base game was? I'd be saying, dude, give me my money back because I'm down here with the plebes again. Well, I mean, I probably wouldn't say it that way, but I'm just saying. But regardless, there's actually one terrible gameplay bug that actually causes protagonist Kay Vess's character model to become unaligned with their speeder bike, and another which causes the enemy AI to completely short circuit for absolutely no reason. Not only that, there's the magic bushes. Have you seen the magic bushes, Loki?
No, this is something new. What's up with the magic bushes?
Okay, all right. Well, part of this game is stealth, right? And apparently having fists made of adamantium. And so she's like sliding around in the bushes and like she shoots and kills some guys and then she goes back in the bush. They can't find her. Can't shoot her. Just hanging out down there. And the bushes are magic. Magic bushes. I know.
Magic bushes.
Magic bushes.
Yeah.
And look, this is from the same studio that makes Assassin's Creed, where, look, Assassin's Creed, the bushes are not magic. You can get stabbed in the magic bushes. There's no magic in the bushes. Well, I mean, maybe I can't say that joke on that game place, but that was a funny joke I had in my head. Anyway, to this end, it should be as no surprise that let's try that again. To this end, it should come as no surprise that in light of both of these issues and audience's overall exhaustion with all things Disney Star Wars, Outlaws' initial reception has been rough, to say the least. Well, not for some people. Loki, weren't there a group of like folks that got like free trips to Disney because of this game?
Yep. Ubisoft and another company representing Ubisoft sent them passes and VIP access to Disney World, all kinds of nice little goodies. Flew them out from the UK to the US to play a demo of this game and talk about how absolutely wonderful it was. So wonderful, in fact, that they had to give them press packets and paragraphs to read out because they had to be very specific on the wording when they go to review this. They wanted something very specific. They wanted everyone in line saying the same thing. Seems kind of disingenuous to me when you want people to play your game and talk about how great it is, having a script written out for them to do that.
Yeah, and I find that very troubling. I mean, everything that you experience in a game should be in your own words, especially like a live player. Like I've seen some people like live play this game and have it fail on them, and then they look bad because there's like egg on their face, and it's like, well, what can I say? I mean, if you're live playing the game, how do you fix that? You just your whole audience, tens of thousands of people, if you're a big streamer, just saw you have a massive bug, and if they see that more and more, they're not going to be into this game. But even Kotaku, according to the article here, said that they couldn't ignore the fact that it's a technical disaster, with writer John Walker even observing in 2024, we have reached the most deeply peculiar place where AAA games are feats that humanity would once have recognized as literal wonders, and yet play with the same irritating issues and tedious repetition as we saw in the 90s. This contrast, this dissonance, is absolutely fascinating. I don't think fascinating is the right word. I think frustrating should be the word. But Loki, where are we at with this game in a year?
I think it's dead. No matter what content you've got out for it, it's going to be dead. They could come out with a whole new DLC pack 2, DLC pack 3, year supply of blah, blah, blah. It's going to be dead. People are already started walking away from it. It's got probably half the audience it did when it started. It's losing more and more. People are getting tired of it. People are tired of the bugs. People don't want to have to start the games all over from scratch. So you got the people that left when that happened or refunded their game. I don't think we're going to be hearing about this game at all in a year. I think it's going to be swept under the rug, and we just won't hear anything about it. You might catch a commercial on the YouTubes every once in a while about come back and try out Star Wars Outlaws with the new Jabba the Jango expansion pack. When where you got Jabba the Hutt like a Jango fat suit blastering his way around the arenas of Salaharon with a jetpack and a blaster rifle. Outlaw. It still won't bring people back. You could have the greatest, craziest stuff in the world and it still won't bring it back.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, and this gets us to the meat of the story, right? Because, despite all of the stuff that we've been calling out since before the game launched, and especially people that we know that got a chance to play it early, there are massive failings here. But despite those, the creative director, Julian Garrity, that's probably right, thinks that with the time and improvements, the game will become a bona fide gaming classic. He says, I'm a little disappointed with the Metacritic review, obviously, where the game is holding at 76% artificially, I imagine, critic score, and with a 5.4 out of 10 user score. The users are unhappy here. If you're below 70% with users, you ain't doing good. But anyway, recognition from critics is very important to us, but I do think the players are really connected to what they did. With a 5.4, bro? Nuh-uh. Anyway, let's see. According to the Games Radar's Josh West during a recent interview, we had a very ambitious target. We literally reached for the stars, and I think we were successful from so many different angles. There's a magic, unique experience within Outlaws, whether it's Star Wars or not. That's telling. Whether it's Star Wars or not, this is not Star Wars. I think this is a mistake. Right? Am I reading that wrong?
It has to be one of those moments where they're like, you're not going to put that in quotes, are you? No, we won't quote them. And they do it anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not Star Wars.
Continuing on, I think Outlaws has such long legs that this will be a game that millions of people are going to play for years and years. And we're never going to stop improving it. Never. Never's a long time, Loki. Never.
It was a long time. And I've never heard of Ubisoft supporting a game in infamy like that for an infinite amount of time. Uh, you could go to the Ubisoft website now if you want to try and play the original Assassin's Creed. You have to download an unpacker to basically manually install the game on your PC because it will not install through their Ubisoft Plus nonsense. So you've got to literally install the original Assassin's Creed like a program on your computer that's not connected to your Ubisoft and play it through that and manually patch it as well.
Wow.
They do not continue to support things for the rest of its life. They just that when it's time to stop, they stop. There's a critical bug in Black Flag right now, to where if you max all the graphics options out, it will kill every single time you go in a port in a ship. You've got to move one of the shading levels down, even if you have the best PC in the world to play it, because there's a crash, because there's a bug with the game on PC. They don't fix games in perpetuity forever.
No, and that's the funny thing, because even he realized after saying that, the hyperbole of the statement, because he says, well, okay, that's a lie. Yeah. We'll probably stop improving it eventually, but today my mind is not on stopping. Not on stopping. Well, you may have to stop, bro, because after a year, if your player base is like 400 people, you're going to be done. And this is the other problem that Ubisoft is having across the board. And we've certainly addressed this before in a video you could find right up there, with the fact that Ubisoft is actually on some very shaky ground right now. And there's a decent chance that if Assassin's Creed Shadows has a bad day or month or year, Ubisoft could be looking at a bankruptcy at that point. They're literally just destroyed. Anyway, further pressed for his feelings about the game's overall future, Garrity added, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Loki, we could talk about this game for like 20 more minutes and it wouldn't add anything to this conversation, except for the fact that nobody believes games urinalists anymore. Because guess what? In the story we were talking about a moment ago, Ubisoft pays for influencers to travel to LA, visit Disneyland as part of Star Wars Outlaws marketing campaign. How can you take those people seriously? Loki, I'm going to give you the final word on this one, and you deserve it. Look, Outlaws is a broken game from the beginning, which happens even with AAA titles. But do you give this do you think that people will give this a fair shake long enough for them to get some of the fixes implemented, for them to develop more stories, for them to make this a little more compelling? Or I think you've already mentioned, do you think people are going to walk away from this rapidly, and with enough bad press, there'll be even fewer sales than even Ubisoft hopes for?
I think people are walking away. I think all you're going to have is some Raylos stick around, some people that are absolutely obsessed with Disney Star Wars and trying to promote that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Ubisoft's made a mistake. The only reason why this game is still on the market right now is that it has Star Wars in the title. If this was some unknown, unnamed game, which I believe at one point it was, an unknown, unnamed game that they just made into Star Wars, I think that this would be done already. The only thing carrying it right now is the name Star Wars. That's it. That's all they have going for it. They leveraged the Ubisoft engine. They brought it up like Hulkamania, brother, but it didn't do them any good because there's nothing there to leverage with that horrible Ubisoft engine. The game's crap. It runs like crap, and I feel really bad for the people that worked on it. I really do. I don't want them to lose their jobs, but I'm thinking Ubisoft's going to be doing some layoffs here in the not too distant future.
Yeah, and that's a conversation for another day, because I know that they've had some recent layoffs, and I know that the name Star Wars does not have the kind of weight or gravitas that it used to. But hey, what do you think, you wonderful audience out there? Let us know your thoughts about this Star Wars Outlaws game in the comments section below. Do you think this thing is going to recover? Does it have a chance to get better? Is it something that you've played and you've enjoyed playing? I honestly want to know. Let us know. down below. Also, while you're down there, hit that like button. The thumbs up button's really important, but those comments are equally important, as so is your subscription. Because there's like 68% of you that are watching our videos that aren't subscribed. Hit that button. It's free. And Loki's funny and smart. And, he's worth watching. Me? I'm just old. On that note, do check out That Game Place live every Wednesday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern as we break the news in a way that no other journalist is going to cover it because we're different. We're not journalists. As always, get your game on.